call the meeting to order at 7:02. And Ally, would you do the roll call, please?
Sure. Okay, Trustee Jerch.
Here.
Trustee Graziano. Here. Trustee Hayes.
Here.
Trustee Jardine.
Here.
I'm here. I don't ever know how to handle that, sorry. So Trustee Dowdy and Trustee Shaw are absent.
Hey everyone, it's Bonnie. Can you hear me?
Hey, Bonnie.
Yes.
Hi, Bonnie.
Yes. Hi, so I'm here as a member of the public since I'm not able to be part of the board. So I don't know how you want to record that for attendance purposes. That's all.
Okay, so could we do the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So, are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
I don't know if this would count as an addition to the agenda, but I just wanted to note, we have two special meeting minutes, January 8th and three special meeting minutes, January 8th, 10th, and February 1st. So I think we can just include them in the March agenda for review and approval.
Yes, we can.
Great.
8th, 10th, and 21st.
Yes, and first.
Oh,
February.
first.
Yeah,
Two,
I'm sorry.
2-1.
yeah,
That
so
first. Yep,
2 January, 1 February.
we can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, and then any members of the public who would like to address the board? Anybody?
Comment?
No? Okay, thank you. So now we can approve the library board meeting minutes from the January 14th meeting. So anybody would like to?
I'll move to approve the library board meetings from, or minutes from Tuesday, January 14th.
Thank you, Sandy.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Me again. I did not record Trustee Dowdy as absent for that meeting. We were waiting to see if he came later.
Oh,
So I need to make
okay.
an amendment to note that he was absent. And
Okay.
I will correct that and share it. So with that amendment, sorry.
I moved to, now I can't even remember what it was supposed to say.
Approve the January 14th.
Amended
Yeah.
January 14th. Comments.
Thank you, Sandy.
Second.
Thank you. All righty.
We should do, I think, a voice vote on that.
Oh, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, so minutes are approved as amended. And then we're on to library director updates. So it's all you, David.
Okay. Just a couple of housekeeping things first. In your seats, at your seats today, there are copies of the audit for the last fiscal year completed. Sikich sent enough copies for everybody, so I'm giving you your own copies to do with as you wish. But the audit has been completed. Also at your place is a copy of this year's Read Between the Ravines, Three Girls from Bronzeville by Dawn Turner. And there's a little flyer inside that talks about the author, the book, and the program.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
No, thank the staff.
Thank you.
Thank the staff. Okay, let me just mention a couple of things from the written report. Welcome, Molly.
Thank you.
Molly began and is manager of reference and circulation and technical services, and by her own admission has been having a good time so far. Let me just mention again that Nick Rosales, who started a month or so ago, has been doing a fantastic job. The written report just mentioned a few of the things he's been able to accomplish in the short time that he's here. I think staff are thrilled to have him around, tending to a lot of things for the building that haven't gotten a lot of attention in the past. Let's see, the village has just approved, I just got it last night, the permit to complete the exterior lighting project. So after the architectural review board approved the plan, the village then just needed to approve a permit application, which they have. So I've given that now to Highland Park Electric, and Highland Park Electric will, once we give them a 1/3 deposit, will order the materials and begin the work to replace all of the exterior lights. Then once the work is done, then the last final step is an inspection and acceptance of the work by the village. So hopefully that will at least get started before I take off. I spoke today also to Midwest Environmental Consulting. They're expecting to have their plan proposal for the asbestos removal, or at least the beginning of that project, by the end of this week. They'll send it to us for review. They'll also send it to our architectural firm, Engberg Anderson, in case Engberg Anderson has any comments that they want to make about that. And then once the plan is accepted, then they can begin the bid process and to find a qualified firm to actually lead the work. And as I mentioned last time, in the meantime, I'm continuing to fill out all of the forms and applications for the state grant administrator to make sure that that side of it continues to move forward. Any questions about that?
Hey, David, it's Bonnie. I do have a question about that. Have you had a chance to talk to Enberg Anderson about finding the contractor that'll put the building back together after the asbestos has been abated?
Well, that's why the plan is going to be sent to them so that they can chime in about that. When I spoke to one of the architects, they said that they could certainly do it, but the work that might be required to put the building back together might not require the services of a firm such as theirs, that a smaller contractor that might be a little more affordable could potentially do it. So that's why we're going to have them look at the proposal that Midwest Environmental is drawing up to see what they think about the scope of the work, and if they have any recommendations for Midwest about designing the work, and then coming up with a recommendation on who should be ready to do that second half of the work.
Got it. Thanks. Yeah, I hope that we can schedule that the abatement and the repair post-abatement happen back to back without delay.
Okay.
So I think Midwest Environmental is the one who's issuing the RFP for the asbestos abatement. So long as they're aware of, because it sounds like the repair post-abatement's not within Midwest Environmental's
That's correct. It's not.
responsibilities. Okay.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you.
So we do need to put money in.
No, you can't, because she's on vacation.
Oh,
So it's
got
not,
it.
yeah,
Okay,
so
so it's not-
she
okay.
can't be a part of the official meeting.
I'm just a member of the public tonight.
Okay,
But she can ask questions.
right, yeah.
Okay, so then we have is there anything else in your monthly report that you want to cover before we go to look at stats?
No, I just, again, if there's anything in any part of the report that you have questions about, either mine or the parts that Jill or Eliza contributed, let me know. Otherwise, the only other thing I'll mention is the Friends of the Library report that Jillian provided. She attended their meeting and presented a number of funding requests, all of which the Friends approved, including money to pay for the exterior lighting project.
That's great.
So they were very, very generous, and I mean, it was, I will say, I mentioned it to Jillian just sort of offhandishly as she was preparing for the meeting, not really expecting that the Friends would be able to do that, but they said that they could, so that's great.
Yeah, that's very generous of them. Okay.
Then, yeah, otherwise, besides the regular statistics, you've got the heat maps that you wanted to that you requested to see. So for 12 months, you have the average of the in traffic for each of those 12 months for the hours that the library is open. However, you decide you want to use this information to make decisions when it's time to make a decision about either continuing or not your pilot project of our service hours. And Eliza helped put these together, and she and others know how to get into the sensor system to create these. So and how to manipulate the data. So if there are other time periods that you want to see information for, that can be done. So, but you wanted, I think, as far as I remember from the last time, you wanted to see about 12 months at least of information. So you've got 12 months of information in the board package to make a decision.
Thank you. All right, anything else under the statistics report? So you've got.
Thank you for including the CBI.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, you also requested some information about monies expended for the original construction project, which was the planned installation of the access and security system. So I included all of the invoices that were paid to Computer View for work that they did, which was, as far as I can tell, mostly work to acquire certain equipment, server equipment, that then would have been used to install that system. The equipment was ordered, the equipment was received, it's here, we've paid for it. Under the new objectives of the grant, I don't think that any of this will be reimbursable. So in other words, the original purpose was to install the system. We're, at least for the purposes of the grant, we're not doing that now. We're removing the asbestos. So that's the plan that we're putting through to the state to do that. None of that from CVI had anything to do with asbestos removal. So what you have paid to CVI is not reimbursable for the grant. Does it make sense? Okay. Just wanted to point that out. So yeah, thank you, Hallie.
So, David, if the money is sitting there in a balance sheet, because we didn't go in, we pay for it already in our normal monthly.
Some of these invoices were paid in the previous fiscal year, in the 23-24 fiscal year, and then some of it was paid in this fiscal year 24-25.
Okay, so it looks like it. Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any further questions about stats? Money spent? Not.
And again, the other four statistical reports are the same four that I've been giving you, since I started. 6 months of circulation statistics, programming, collection totals, and database usage.
This format is nice too, David. I find this a lot easier to look at.
The bar charts?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, there's, they're in the system. There are different ways of presenting the information. And of course, there are other statistical reports available. I've just been giving you what, I thought would be helpful for you to know.
Great, thank you. Okay, so then we can move on to number 8, the financial reports. So does anybody have any questions about the 2025? If you have any comments you'd like to make about the revenue and expenditure report for January?
Miscellaneous income, 17,000, is that from the village?
17,352.
Or I've got 17,027, so.
That is a very good question, which I do not have the answer to. So I will have to find out.
Hey, David and group, this is a hypothesis on my part. It's of course Bonnie again. Perhaps the village did transfer to payments outlined in the new IGA.
That's kind of what I was thinking it was.
Which,
Be
and
17 flat be the village payments.
So I wonder there might be another just 2788 or whatever the balance was from something else, maybe that came in.
yeah, I will definitely find out if that is what it is, then it was done without really any notification to us. They just deposited it. So I will definitely
Okay.
find out if that's what it is.
Any other questions about revenue expenditure report? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the January 2025 revenue and expenditure report.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 31 revenue report.
Thank you, Bill.
I will second and take a roll call vote. Trustee Hayes.
Aye.
Trustee Graziano. Aye. Trustee Jerch.
Aye.
Trustee Jardine.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Okay, so that takes us to the January 2025 check disbursement for checks number 16,383 through 16,428.
Mine.
Actually, it should be 429.
I didn't see anything real interesting when I was signing them. So
All right,
that jumped out at
I
me.
guess that's good. I'd be worried if you saw something interesting.
Well, interesting in a bad way is what I meant.
Yeah, I know.
If there are no questions, could I get a motion to approve the January 2025 checks numbers 16,383 through 16,429?
I'll motion to approve the January 25 checks 16,383 through 16,429.
Thank you. Thank you.
Trustee Hayes.
Aye.
Trustee Graziano. Aye. Trustee Jerch.
Aye.
Trustee Jardine.
Aye.
Vote aye.
Great. Motion passes. Okay, so next we have committee reports. So I guess the first one up will be Jen on HR.
Yes, we met on February 10th. To discuss two things, to discuss the new director timeline as well as moving forward on our HR source report. Taking a look at our personnel handbook. So, thanks to David, he connected with HR source and we are gonna move forward with, they're gonna take a look at our employee manual for legal compliance. And I think when we talked to David during the meeting, he recommended, and Ally, I know you've been keeping a spreadsheet, that maybe we would want to put it on a 3-year timeline. Right, it's currently on a 2, so if we can do. He said that because we're using their services, they'll be sending probably updates to the director in the meantime. So we should be able to keep it current using those updates. But then definitely we should be looking at it every 3 years. And I think it's been since I've been here, I don't know that we've looked at, had HR source take a look at it, so. It's been a little while. Yeah, it was updated in January of 2020, so. 5 years ago. So, and we had some people that were able to take a look at it. They're just gonna look at it for basic legal compliance, and then when you take, when you get the report back, we have some notes from the committee of other things that if we would like HR source to take a deeper look at it, you guys could connect with them then. So I think they said it would take about at least 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
6 to 8 weeks,
Yeah,
so,
depending on how many other such projects they have sort of in the pipe.
yes. So. Does anyone have any questions about that? And then, I'm not sure. When are we doing this?
There's,
Oh, there,
it's on
it's under new business.
Perfect. So should we talk about the new director timeline now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So the other thing we talked about was, and Janie's been doing a lot of the communicating, thanks Natalie for being here. About, when the new starting date for the new director will be, is March 10th. Yes, and the wonderful thing is that David is, going to still be available for a little while before he leaves us.
Yeah, I can be.
So there'll be some overlap, and I think you guys will look up the details.
Yeah, however you all decide you want that to work.
Yes, and I think that the staff will take care of a lot of the onboarding. Is that
Yes.
not correct?
Yes, thank you, Eliza and Jillian
Yes.
and Molly were at the meeting, so they were
Yes.
able to be there with us to help plan the timeline. A trade out.
Wow.
So that was great.
So we're very excited to see that happen.
Yes.
And then Bill, Finance and Tech.
We met on January 16th and we had a number of agenda items, but we kind of got stuck on the budget. And as far as trying to get everything sort of resolved, and following that meeting, David, myself and Eliza set up separate times to sort of work through some of the questions. We had a number of questions and we were trying to get information from Bettina, and we got all that information and we met separately to sort of workshop to try and get it all done. And so what's in the board package tonight is kind of the end result of our efforts and our assumptions. So we'll go through that a little bit later.
Thank you, Bill. All right, that takes us to, does anybody have anything they want to say from the committees that did not meet? Oh, all right. Then additional reports, I'm not sure what that is, David.
Only if there is anything.
Only if there are any. We don't have any. Quick meeting tonight. Okay. That takes us to new business. So the first action is to approve the revised budget for fiscal year 2025-2026.
I have a few questions. Should I wait? You look ready to.
No, your question. I'm just gonna give this out. These are some of the assumptions that are in there. It says, yep, I got.
You don't have to wear one packet, do you? Not that way.
That one's ready.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Is everyone going?
There we are.
Okay, I can run through kind of the assumptions in here and then go for questions, or Ali, if you've got questions right now, or if any of those answered, anything that's answered on that listing.
One, well, it'll be a minor amount, is the village contribution and then the fleet operating cost contribution, so the $17,000. The IGA is signed for 16,000
Okay.
annually, but this year we received a reimbursement of 17 because it was a $14,000
Okay.
payment plus a $3,000 back payment out of water bills
Okay.
that were paid over the past 20 years. And so I just wanted to note that
That's
16 moving forward. So the
Okay.
17 is a back payment from
Okay.
23-24's contribution plus the utility repayment.
Okay,
And then I was just curious what the 790 referred to with the fleet operating cost, and if that was different than. 'Cause the
that,
fleet-
yeah, that I carried over from previous budget, but if that's included now in the 16,000, then I can eliminate that.
It used to be called the fleet contribution. And so that's why I was just curious, and now it's no longer called, at least in the most recent IGA, is no longer
Okay.
called to that,
So
but
that would then eliminate that.
I just wanted to make sure if there was another.
No,
No.
no,
thing.
no, that's.
Shall we negotiate again? for the-
Hey, for Bill and David, Ally, I don't know where it shows up in the budget, but at some point, our tenants, the History Museum, do pay for a portion of cleaning. I think, and some other small, maybe supplies, I'm not sure. So maybe that was, Bill, you mentioned that it's a carry forward from
Yeah,
current
Okay.
fiscal year to next fiscal year. So I think that may be what it is, just throwing it out there. The other thing is the village IGA amount will increase by CPI or 5%, whichever is lower for our next fiscal year. So
Okay.
Bill and I at that January finance meeting went through this in detail. I know there's been some refinements, Bill, that you did with Eliza and David, but those are just two things based on the
Okay.
discussion so far that I thought I could add a little more context to, perhaps.
okay. Well, I can run down, Bonnie, there's 9 areas and Eliza, David, if there's anything that I've missed on this. The property taxes went up 6%, which is with the levy that was approved by the village. So you'll see on line 30,000 that that number has gone up 6%. I'm sorry, I don't have a minute. I think these are sort of my thoughts as I was going through. I'll go to number 3. We don't have any revenue from passports this year. When Katie left us, she was primarily the person doing all the passports, and that I guess registration hasn't been reapproved. So there is no revenue for passports. So I just want to. That's not an omission. That's going to go into next year. Then I also reduced the interest income. We had that down at 44,000. We had it at 40. I brought it down to about. I've got it down as 35,410. There's nothing magic about the 410. The 410 is sort of more of a flat number, and I thought that's the best way to put it, since that number is going to fluctuate during the year as the fund balance goes up and down. And then in the grants, and donations, which is 36200. I have that at 140. And included in that is the accessibility grant with the matching funds, which totals 90,000. And then the remaining 50,000 is made up of 25,000 for organizations like the Friends, and the other 25 is I guess we talked before at some of the meetings about maybe trying to get a technology grant from either some of the big companies like AbbVie or Abbott or Baxter, and so I've added that in there. So I don't know when, I don't know who's going to do it, but there is a $25,000 grant to BD in that 140 number. And then the next line, restricted donations, is the 100,000 that's put aside for the asbestos project. And if you flip to the grants, which identifies where the grants are and where they're getting expended, Bettina set up a line item in the expenditures 50500 just for the asbestos abatement project. So that'll be a one-time line item for next year. That's on the grants side of things. I also reduced the PPRT money. I think I've got the right number in there. It went down from 5484 down to 5319. See anything else on the revenue side? Then moving to the expenditures side. Eliza did a great job working with Bettina and getting exactly all the salaries, the benefits, all the IMRF, the Social Security. So we pretty much it's up to date with everything that we know with the people that we have at the moment. What I did was I took a 5% discount. And I rationalized that the fact that we will have turnover, we will have absenteeism and things. And looking at how we did last year to this year, as far as extrapolating the numbers out, that discount seems sort of a reasonable type assumption at the moment. So all the medical insurance, employee benefits, retirement funds, Social Security are all based on that particular number. But as we went through the budget, I think this is probably the most accurate it's been to look at the staff numbers and look at the medical insurance and things on that nature. So there's a jump from last year to this year from 912 to 995. Which is fairly significant, but we do have a full year of Nick and I think there's one position we didn't renew in there, was that Eliza? And
there's a cost of living increase.
And the cost, yeah, it does include a cost of living increase. So and that will take effect then May 1st. So let's see. So the passports.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Thanks. And I think this is the first year that we were also we had talked about this in January at the Finance and IT Committee meeting. We're assuming all people eligible for medical benefits take medical benefits, correct?
No, we got even deeper into that. We've actually got we know who's got benefits and we put those numbers in there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. The biggest thing though is I showed that we're going to use up $40,000 of the reserve and justify that with some of the technology projects for the computer software and building that's going to be needed to support those projects, along with the technology grant in there. And I think we looked at the sickage report at the moment, that at the end of last year, our reserve was sitting at 558. So it's grown considerably. When we checked, I think a few weeks back, it was at 880,000, of which it's going to need to fund the remaining months between now and the end of April. So we try to get creative but making sure that it's a budget that we can give in. I would like to David in comments, any other things.
I think that yeah, covers it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill and David and Eliza for putting on that. I just have like one note as we think about closing this out and about next year's budget. I know you and I have talked about this a bit, David, but now that we have a pretty holistic picture and we'll continue to, you know, obviously work with Jay-Z Racklin on understanding the financial position of the library and thinking about, you know, not even a year from now, like 6 months from now, how really strong, I don't want to use the word aggressive, but that's where coming to my mind, like aggressive financial advocacy for the library with the village. In terms of levy amount moving forward is something I think we really need to keep in mind. I know you all haven't gone through this process and it being quite a challenge, but thinking about how we're teeing that up, because I think we're at that point.
Yeah, because I think there's obviously some major projects. I mean, we're going to use the grant money for asbestos, and I mean, there's some obviously the report that we get as far as what we want to do with the library and some of the major projects there. Some of what's in the operating budget here would be taken care of with some of the other things in there. But yeah, there's a lot of things that we want for the library, and we again trying to balance things in. And in the past, we try to move money from the library operating budget, what was left over into the reserve. And I think we've done that with the detriment of not being able to keep up with some of the other things. So the reserve is there for a reason, and we're going to look at it for the technology upgrades and the building.
Can you remind me again what you said the reserve amount was?
At the end of I'm going by memory, but I think it was around 80 at the end of December.
Yes, at the end of December, what was there to expend for the remainder was about 800,000. It's gone down since then.
Yeah, and then
So usually that's total. You're talking about that's total fund.
That was basically
Yeah,
cash on.
cash on
Okay,
hand, yeah.
okay, that's
Basically cash on.
And at the end of last year, it was looking at the sickage report, it was about 558.
If
Hey,
there is, oh, go ahead, Bob.
hi, thank you. Just a reminder to the board that it might have been a year ago. The board made a decision to approve spending out of the reserve in order to put in place a building and ground supervisor. Now, that role wasn't posted for so long, such that we were able to get the increased levy amount for fiscal year 25-26 to cover the majority of that new role. So I'll just tell you, when I went through this version of the budget in our board packet, I had the residual reaction that maybe Janie, you did of, oh, we're going to plan to spend from reserve. But I just underlined Bill's comments. I think we have to. I think we are at the point where we have to start keeping our IT systems up to date, making sure the building gets the maintenance it needs. So again, just wanted to remind people that we had actually approved a spend out of reserve, but never did it, never actually spent any of it. That's all.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Yep.
And there was a lot of work, and Eliza and David went through all the other line accounts from, the ebooks and different areas. So there was expenses cut out of a number of areas, while there might be some increases in others. So I think it's been, thoroughly vetted as far as the line items.
All right, if there are no more comments or questions, then I would be looking for a motion to approve the revised budget for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Before anyone makes the motion, let me just recommend that as a part of it, you and Bill, if you want, I don't know if you want to recalculate this, but I think you want to, as a part of the motion, state what the amounts that you are projecting in the budget or stating in the budget here, both for revenue and for expenditures. So it's clear in the record exactly what the board is approving as a budget.
So like the total amount, the 1,526.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if that has changed based on any of the conversation you just had about the village contribution or anything else.
Well, if it's just from what Ali had said, and then if I have 17,000, if it's 16,000 with a 5 or a 6 or CPI index increase, that will bring it pretty close to 17.
Okay.
And then I guess the only, I'm not certain on the operating costs, whether that 790 does include what Bonnie was saying, or whether this now is all part of.
Then you can leave it the way it is then.
But
It's up to you.
Do we have anyone willing to make this motion?
can I make the motion?
You can.
You can.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to motion to approve the 25-26 budget with revenue of 1,523,500 and with expenditures of the same amount, 1,526,500.
Okay, a second. Second, thank you. All right, I guess we need a roll call vote for this.
It's Trustee Hayes,
Aye.
Trustee Graziano, Trustee Jerch,
Aye.
Trustee Jardine.
Aye.
So vote aye.
Okay. That has passed, so we now have a budget.
Thank you all for your work on that.
Yes. I knew Eliza would be happy. Okay, so,
22.
yeah. All right, so next we have, a matter to approve the annual non-resident library card resolution. Does anybody need a recap of what that is? No?
Can I ask for a recap of the amount previously?
Which
do you
amount?
recall? For household for non-resident library cards in the past, has it always been 16?
For multi-unit dwellings.
Yes, I asked the same question. I wasn't sure where that figure of $16 came from. If you are renting, basically renting an apartment in a multi-unit building, that's, and staff checked the history and they said as far back as we could go, that's what you decided. That is what the board, I shouldn't say you, that is what the board decided it would charge.
Okay, is it $90 for unincorporated, non-resident?
It's going to, so the way it's determined for everyone else is based on their tax bill.
Right, okay.
So it's going to be different
Based for homeowners.
for homeowners, right? So, right. I don't know, was that what you were asking or not?
I was just thinking about one of my pals that I see often at community outreach events who likes to tell me
Okay.
it's $90.
Okay, well, I mean, for them, it could be, I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
Yeah,
He didn't
yeah.
give me.
Again,
For some reason that stuck in my head.
It's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be different for everyone depending on their tax.
Okay,
bill.
but the 16 has always been.
That, for that one, yes.
Okay, cool.
And we don't really know how that figure was originally determined.
Sure.
Any other questions having to do with?
Just,
Yeah.
sorry, to jump back one last thing. Do I need to put this in for, all the assumptions based on the budget? That we have here,
Put it into what?
into any kind of historical, document, since I won't.
It can be, if you want, it can just become a part of the minutes.
Okay, I just got one, I realize there's one other item and then I just need to put on there, and that's just.
Yeah.
On the expenditure side, when those grant monies come in, I have it showing that. Part of it's gonna go into all the accessibility, there's 90,000 there.
Okay,
The rest of it is going to support the 3 areas that we talked about in technology, software, and the building.
right.
So
Okay.
I'll just clarify. that.
Yeah, just
then-
work with Ally to make sure that they get into.
Okay, and then I'll send it to you. After
That's okay.
She's fast.
that. Done it before I even spend.
All right, would anybody like to move to approve the annual non-resident library card resolution?
I will move to approve the non-resident library card resolution.
I get a second?
Second.
Sandy? All right, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Do we need to have a voice vote on that since it's about money?
Why don't we?
You probably should,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you probably-
Trustee Hayes,
Aye.
trustee Graziano. Aye. Trustee Jerch,
Aye.
trustee Jardine.
Aye.
Trustee Friedeman, aye.
Okay. All right, now, the most exciting action of the evening is to approve to hire the selected candidate for library director. So, I will read what the motion will be, and I will entertain someone to move, and then a second. So the motion is, be it resolved that the Board of Directors hereby approves the hiring of Natalie Starosta as the new director of the Lake Bluff Library, effective March 10th, 2025, at a starting salary of $107,000 per year, with standard organization benefits based on her demonstrated expertise as a community library leader and proven track record of successful managerial and administrative experience. The motion.
I so move.
Thank you very much. Perfect. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. We need a voice vote.
Trustee Hayes,
Aye.
trustee Graziano. Aye. Trustee Jerch.
Aye.
Trustee Jardine.
Aye.
Trustee Friedeman, aye. Yay!
You're official.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. I can't wait to start. I will definitely be pestering you all in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. Sorry, David.
Pester away.
Go
Pester
right
away.
I'm pretty sure it'll be better.
All right.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
Then the next thing on the agenda is the library correspondence and communication. There were some cute comment cards here at the end.
Aren't they adorable?
They are.
I know the little girl who wrote the last one.
Do you? Livia.
She goes to school with my dad.
Love her cursive.
It's at the cursive though, yeah,
Yeah.
I know this kid.
Goodness.
So cute. And the peace sign. Thank you.
Good stuff. All right. Then do we have any need for executive session this evening? I think so. Therefore, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will move to adjourn at 7:51 PM.
I'll second.
Go ahead. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. You made this easy on me tonight.
Janie, nice job.
Well done. So
Well,
efficient.
Thanks, Bonnie.
I'll dial in every time.